You're listening to another episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place we're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, another week, another great week. Been a full week. Now that we've solved the great crisis of who's going to be Speaker of the House.
Only took you 15 votes.
Yeah, we have Kris Noteboom here from Wilde, Cigar and Culture. He's going to talk about his first year in business and what he's learned, and also some, just what's going on with this industry as a whole and just whatnot, and any specials or any promotions you got coming up, because I bet you're going to promote at least the football playoffs and things like that.
Well, I'm telling you, TCU fans come out tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for me to root for TC tonight.
I know.
But, I guess I'll root for the homeboys. But, it's tough.
My sister went there. My mom went there for a while. My grandma worked there. The only reason I didn't go there is I needed to be more than 15 minutes away from my parents.
Well, and I'm sure they were appreciative.
No, they hated it.
They hated it? They wanted you around, did they?
Oh, my God. If there was a campus in Burleson, they would want me there.
In Plano, where I grew up, TCU was like on the other side of the planet. I mean, really.
Well, that's everyone in Dallas, right?
Yeah,
they think Tarrant County doesn't exist.
Right. The school of similar stature, and why not that private school was either Baylor or SMU. And in my class, we had a huge class. A bunch went to SMU, and about 40 went to Baylor. I think one that I know of went to TCU.
And, that was the thing that ruined me at UT. I was the only member of our graduating class to go. So I'd run into a couple of kids from the 97, 96 classes there every once in a while. Shout out to Leanne Finley, who was always very nice.
Oh, yeah. She's a great gal.
But yeah, man, I was at UT, man. I was alone.
Yeah.
All my friends went to Baylor and A&M.
Yeah. Do you think you'd have liked Baylor?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
Well, you know what, though?
Yeah.
Because where I ended up, Hardin Simmons.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Which is like Baylor West.
And probably more serious about it. I don't know. Maybe.
No. This has been the big drama in the general convention is they went after Baylor and Hardin Simmons for being too liberal of theology schools.
Oh, I remember that very unfondly, if that's a word, because I was there when they were doing that. And
I have the distinction of being the one non-theology student in the private group on Facebook that has been fighting this.
Well, it's rubbish what some of this happens.
It is. They got rid of Dr. Susan Piggott at Hardin Simmons, who'd been there forever and was amazing.
Yeah.
Because it was a female teaching theology.
Oh, Lord, we can't have that.
Forbid, man.
Yeah. I'm going through this. Also, when I'm looking through my groups here, there's a page you should join. And everybody else should join as well that wants to get into the politics we're going to have. We're starting election season today, in a sense. I mean, I think I
think we started a couple months ago.
Well, I'm talking about local elections.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much this hair pulling about presidency. Who cares? But it's the sign up for school board and city council starts next week. Which have you got your application in yet?
No. No.
Okay.
That comes up more than you'd think, and I tell everyone absolutely not.
Well, there's a group that has been started that's going to kind of keep pace with this. It's called the Burleson 2023 election page.
Oh, good.
All right, and it's started by several people that listen to this show, including Otto and Jackie Jones is going to be the moderator.
Yeah.
Things like that. And so you got to join it, and I'm going to promote it
I will.
the next few weeks because it's going to be if at all possible, if we can keep some of the crankier stuff off, it's going to be legitimate political discussion. It's not going to be QAnon crap or this conspiracy stuff or slander or anything like that. It's going to be legitimate political discourse.
If you ever want a CRT expert, you can have me on, and I can tell you that I'd be thrilled if my students ever actually read the chapter from the textbook in the class, let alone be able to lecture about things like that.
So it's that's going to be something we're going to be promoting. Maybe at the end of the show, if Taylor has time. Do you think you could look it up on Facebook?
Send me a link.
Okay. Well, he can do all this at the same time unless he starts rambling on about something. Then I'll have plenty of time.
Give me something to ramble.
Okay. Well, let's talk about our sponsors. You can ramble about them.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Daniel, over at CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. Get a good workout, get you a plan, get you a program, got supervision, they got trainers, they got the whole 9 yards. It's time for that New Year's Day resolution to finally take effect, which will last about maybe February for most people. But if you're serious about getting in shape, CrossFit's where to do it. So 317 Southwest Wilshire. Thank you to Also, Shandy, she'll be on next week, next Monday. She has an announcement she wants to make, and I'll leave it for Shandy to make.
All right.
All right, but Shandy Stogsdill Group at the 817life.com page is always really good because it has stuff going on, not just strictly in the Burleson city limits, but all around us. But Shandy's the person to talk to if you want to buy or sell in this area. Also, thank you to Our Place. I was just there last Thursday. I was going to be there today, but I had a one-to-one meeting with that B&I group I'm in, and she's ill. She's got the crud like everybody else, so
Oh yeah.
we'll be doing it later. But I'll be at Our Place at least once this week, if not more. I really like it there. It's a good place to do business.
Yeah.
I like to sit on the patio when the weather's warm. And well, anyway, Our Place, great food, great service, great people.
Yep.
Also, Your Place, we'll be talking about extensively. We'll be talking about the not just the promotions and the whatnot, but also how you're going to incorporate all the NFL football coming up and whatever, maybe Valentine's Day or whatever else.
Yeah.
Talk about one thing I would like to talk about is the constant promotion that these businesses take. I mean, my small little enterprise, I have to do something with it every day.
It consumes you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we'll talk about that certainly at great length. Also to Tiffany over at Local Life Marketing Group. The magazine is out. I haven't seen the cover yet, but
I have not either.
well, it's she won't send it to post office boxes, but I'll see it at Autos. I mean, there's several retail outlets and restaurants that have it on their counter and stuff. So, but it goes to 30,000 homes, 110,000 people on the average see it. It's a great advertising tool. And she's a neighbor of yours over at the Standard.
Yep.
Also,
And we've worked together a lot.
well, I remember you have had some dealings. You've used her services before.
yeah.
She also has a marketing service coming up, and so if you're interested in that, she can help you with that. Also, another neighbor of yours, Southern Jim.
Oh yes.
They had a great December. Robin worked a lot of hours in December, and she's going to be back on a regular schedule. And it's really got nice stuff. They're going to be closer to you. They'll be right across the parking lot in about 6
they're moving
weeks.
in the big spot. Yeah, Gailey's doing great, man. It's really amazing stuff she makes.
What I really like about her store, I mentioned this before, is that she's going to incorporate stuff that I've always thought that more female-oriented businesses should have, and that's a bullpen for the men to sit in. She's going to have a TV and maybe some coffee or I don't know, maybe white wine or something or red wine. I mean, it's not going to be a bar certainly, but it just may be something to occupy us while they go and spend the mortgage on jewelry. But there you are. So that's coming in. She's hoping by mid-February. There's a lot. As you well know, when you're putting together your place. Oh, that shipment didn't come in on this one, and maybe the next one.
Yeah, luckily shipping's mostly back to normal now.
Oh, isn't Biden doing a wonderful job? You're not going to go for the bait, are you?
I think he's doing very good overall.
Okay, see, there you go. You're just being nice. Hot Works, Michelle, she'll be on the show in about 3 weeks. I like talking with Michelle about business things also because she's very sharp. And the Hot Works regimen, a lot of people swear by it, the infrared workouts.
I keep meaning to go over. I used to do the hot yoga
Well, they have that.
6 days a week.
Well, they have hot yoga among 11 or 10 other things. I know that there's hot blast that Taylor does, and look how slim and trim he is.
Hey, looking handsome.
Yeah, and also like biking, rowing. I don't know. They got all of it. There's 11 different ones, some of which I'm not real familiar with because they're very specified or specific workouts, but it's all great, and a lot of people love it. So. Anyway, Hot Works in 731 over by Chicken Salad Chick and Kroger's and all that's over there. Also, Melissa Harmon, my insurance agent, 682-804-0534. She'll check out your insurance, see if she can save you some money with Texas Farm Bureau. And as she did for me, she probably can for you because Farm Bureau isn't run like your typical corporation. It's not. It's more like a co-op almost. And so you're going to get a pretty good deal in most cases. And if she can't give you a good deal, she'll tell you. 682-804-0534. Also, there we go, the coat drive. I had on Thursday Chase Dias, Dr. Dias, the chiropractor over Trinity Chiropractic, and they're on a coat drive. And you bring a used coat, they have decent quality. You'll get a checkup, you'll get a examination, you'll get an adjustment if you need it. And you can talk about your maybe whatever chiropractic type needs you have. It's over on the corner of Alsbury and Summercrest, over by Bahama Bucks and there's a Papa John's Pizza, I think, and all that. So it's this is going on until Valentine's Day. So bring a coat and not only just check out your your spine or whatever else is ailing you, but you'll also be helping somebody in this weather. It may be warm today, but it won't be forever. And we're seeing more and more people in our area in need for this kind of thing. I talked to the folks at Harvest House, and both at Promises as well, and their businesses, unfortunately, booming. It's kind of one of those businesses you like to wish it wasn't booming, but it is. Their business, they both estimate, both Debbie Beeman at Promises and Jennifer Woods at Harvest House have gone up about 50%.
Yeah.
And that's a lot,
Yeah, we work a lot with Harvest House.
Yes, and she mentioned that. So you do a lot of stuff like that just because that's part of being a good citizen, isn't it?
Yeah, we're probably expanding that real soon. I know sometime this month we're going to meet with Rotary Club and see how we can get involved with them. So,
well, I see you on the screen. Taylor put the website or the Facebook page. That's a better way to put it. This is the 2023 election facts.
okay.
And I was invited to join in along with a bunch of other people. And so you could see some of the people. There's Ms. Jones is welcoming new members. And then they also let me post on there when the show is going to be, since I'm going to have, I know this month I have 3 people that are going to be talking about political office.
Okay.
And then I'm hoping to get more
That's
in February.
good. Yeah.
So join that page, and you'll get, I'm sure, some lively debate, but it's going to be within the appropriate bounds of debate.
Right.
Anyway, let's talk about you and your business. You've been in business a little over a year now. Mid-December was your anniversary.
Yeah, we had our big 1-year party on December 16th.
Now you go into the business thinking one thing. Have you learned something else? Maybe that what you thought would or would not happen actually did or did not happen. I mean, have you changed? Has it changed how you think about business?
Not overall. Not overall. The question I get a lot right after the first year is what's the lessons you've learned? Number one lesson is people will always overpromise and underdeliver. I think it's that natural drive. We want to be good people. We want people to like us. So you get someone in, man, I'm going to live here. Y'all are going to kick me out, and then you see them once every 3 months. Which is fine.
Yeah.
A business comes in and says, "Oh, we're going to rent the room regularly for meetings." You see them the one time, never again. Again, it's fine. But people have a tendency to really talk up. So we have these moments of excitement where it's like, oh, things are about to really take off. And then, boom.
Well, I can relate, because I've had people ask me about being a sponsor, and I get kind of excited. But at this point, it's not so much I have to see it to believe it, but I just realize that people, they express an interest, and they seem at the time that might work, and then reality of their situation.
Yeah.
They're maybe the money, maybe it's just whatever factors in. But I very rarely have I been told if I've talked about sponsorship. Hell no.
Right.
Most of the time,
people want to be nice. They want,
we'll think about it.
And I always tell them it's no big deal. Whenever you want to come hang out, we're here. The only other things, it was, we beat our projections, which was very nice. Though our costs were higher than we expected, so that was also good that we beat our projections. There would be a month or here or there where we suddenly did much better than we expected, or worse than we expected. Kind of learning the community, learning the patterns. We've come to call it, being out here instead of like Central City, we call it suburban issues. So if there's a PTO night, parent teacher, whatever,
right,
then we're empty.
Really?
Centennials run to the playoffs. We saw a dip on game time. Around game time, we saw a dip because people are going to watch and play. And
so you're rooting against our high school team?
No, never. I was so excited for them. I think it's the furthest the Burleson team's ever gotten.
Well, in 2004, BHS got to the semifinals in their division. Yes.
That was a time where I was not.
It was. You're probably still in school, but back then is when they started the first subdivide all 5A, 6A to big and large. And we went like the second, like small school 4A or something like that. And we went to the semifinals.
Nice.
But it was a long time ago. But I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I would think after parent teacher night, the place would be full of teachers after that experience.
You think, and we do have some teachers that came in early on. We haven't seen them much lately. But for sure, yeah, that's definitely, we see the ebbs and flows of being in the suburbs. Also, the fact that being in the suburbs, a lot of our customers have patios. And so something we did not anticipate, because I'd only ever done my research looking at the bars in Old Town and what kind of traffic they got. And, for starters, we're a little bit different.
Yes.
We're just a step up scale. Without being hoity, I think. I think it's very approachable.
Anybody would say that, yeah.
But we have craft cocktails where we make our own syrups and we take it very seriously. We have a very big whiskey selection. We have a good wine selection, a good beer selection. And it's just not to disparage anyone, it's a step up.
Right.
It's not in Old Town. And people are still discovering Hidden Creek in general who have lived here a long time. But also the smoke. Our single biggest expense was trying to make sure that we are filtering the air as much as possible, keeping as clean as possible. We got the high ceilings, But ultimately, a lot of people, because they have that home patio, they come in, they pick up cigars, they leave. So as good as we've tried to make the bar, and we have our own very nice covered patio that's east facing, and so it doesn't get the evening sun. We have a big ass fan over it, and now we have 2 of the tower heaters. I say that as the brand name.
The big ass fan, right?
Yeah.
I recognize it, but some of our people say, "Did he say the bad word?" No, big ass fan is the brand name.
That is the brand name.
Yeah.
But ultimately, people have a really good setup on their patio. I get it. I love my back patio, and it's nothing special, but I love it. So our bar has not done as well as I'd hoped because people come in, get cigars, leave, go home to their own patio. I get it. I like it too. But we have learned that, because we're not so much of a trip, a lot of our customers live within 10, 15 minutes. Even if they live in Crowley or South Fort Worth or, this area is pretty easy to navigate. And so it's 15 minutes home. And so instead of like being in downtown Fort Worth, like a place like Silverleaf, where it's a destination. So if you're going to go there and get cigars, you're going to stay, have a drink. We have struggled to get people to stay at the bar.
What can you do to fix that? I mean, it's going to be kind of tough. I mean, we were talking before the show about some of the expenses, and one of the expenses is because of the very limited locations you have to choose for suppliers in this county. That keeps the prices a little bit higher than you'd want them to be.
The prices are probably a little higher because...
And the same problem happens for every other bar in Johnson County, right?
Yes.
All right.
So basically, Texas Blue laws, we can only buy from within the county. In Johnson County, only has 2 liquor stores that have a Class B license, which is the ability to sell to other businesses. And only one of them will give us an account. Because the other one is kind of small. They have their dedicated customers and they don't want us taken from that. So it's the one down on 35 in Alvarado. And he's got a market corner kind of there.
How did he get it though? I wonder. How did that particular...
Well, it's a chain.
Yeah.
Because if you go up 67 back towards Dallas and Venus, there's another liquor depot.
Yeah. Okay.
There's 2 real close together.
I just wonder how...
And he does not own that other one as far as I've heard.
Well, I just wonder how they jumped on it before, say, a bigger outfit like Total Wine did or something.
Well, what that is that goes down from state level to city and county level. And Johnson County and the city of Burleson, this is previous city leaders in the past, and I mean past.
Oh, yeah.
Did not want those seedy liquor stores in town.
Yeah.
Back before Total Wine was one of the nicest stores you could walk into. And so they've made it impossible. I've heard that might be changing.
Well, I'm going to be asking about this to Mayor Fletcher tomorrow. He's
Yeah.
on the show Tuesday, and we've talked about this some. And one of the things we brought up is that he's like what the people want will make happen kind of thing. Even though he himself doesn't drink, he's not going to. If the people of Burleson want this, and he's the mayor, then that's what's going to happen. But you have to go through a election process, a referendum process, which you got to get names and and all this other stuff and put it on a ballot. And it's not an easy process. But when we were talking about this, I was talking about Total Wine. He was concerned he'd have Billy Bob's cut rate right next to the elementary school, and that kind of thing. And you can't tell one yes and the other one no without risking.
You have to be very
being
careful.
taken to court.
We actually had a similar situation doing our place. And I mean Wilde, not our place. Doing Wilde. Because originally we were going to build on a piece of land on the east side of town. And so we had to go through P&Z and city council. And in there, what we ended up doing was we actually changed city code to very, very, very specifically allow for us in that location. And when I was meeting with the city, one of the things they told me is, even though we have discount, the quote discount tobacco shops that are just, that's cigarettes.
You're right.
We have those. What they didn't want, and I thought was funny, as the thing they name dropped was hookah lounges and head shops.
Right.
And first of all, most hookah lounges pretty nice, and they were wanting this to be a nice place. Like you said, they want Total Wine, not Bob's cut rate. And the same thing for a cigar bar. They wanted it to be nice, and they wanted us to only sell premium cigars, premium pipe tobacco.
That Roy Tans my dad smoked about 50 years ago.
And we don't. We don't have machine-made cigars. We don't have cloves. We don't have cigarettes. We don't have shisha for hookahs. We don't have rolling papers. That's one of the more common calls. We don't even have rolling papers.
No, I've been in your humidor several times. And for a rookie like me, it's a mind-blowing experience. It's like overwhelming to me. That's why I always, when I'm promoting your stuff, I always talk about how you got tobacconists, not just somebody hired off the street, but you got people that are trained in this to tell you what kind of experience you want to have with your cigar. But as far as the liquor laws, I was going to bring it up, but as an old timer, when they changed the liquor laws to allow grocery stores all over Burleson to sell beer and wine, that took 2 shots at it.
Oh, I know.
And it also it was controversial.
Yeah.
And so to me, I didn't know. It was just funny to me personally, because people that were so indignant about beer and wine at grocery stores or liquor by the drink at restaurants at see at Chili's, or on the border. And even if they're not, have a margarita on the table, they're still patronizing stores that sell alcohol, or restaurants, they shop at Albertsons, or whatever. And so even if they weren't buying a beer, they were supporting businesses that did.
Right.
And
I take I think it's a very non-ideological approach, because I think the problem with issues when it comes to vice industry is that it becomes a very ideological argument. My argument is, and I was telling you before the show, this comes from There Will Be Blood, and it's the I drink your milkshake. And the thing is, all the cities around us have liquor stores. So the people in Burleson who want to buy liquor are buying it anyway. Would you not rather keep those sales and that tax revenue inside your own town?
Well, and people who are opposed to this had the same arguments about 13 years ago. All right. And they're entitled to their opinion. They're entitled to have that belief, and that's great. But there's no question, when they loosen that up, here comes HEB, here comes the larger Target, here comes Mambo's, and here comes Fresco's, and here comes restaurants that we all participate with, and then all the business in Old Town, and yada, yada, yada. And there's no question it accelerated for Burleson, in the Johnson County portion anyway, a lot of growth. Now, that being said, would changing the liquor laws to allow you to buy, we have a local liquor store, would that accelerate growth? I think it will, personally.
Yes.
I think it will, with the revenues it generates, and also the now that it's more attractive, maybe
It's
to put a
more
restaurant.
convenient.
More convenient, yeah. Well, and whatnot, but people they're going to have to make this happen.
Yeah.
I don't think the city council themselves are going to be the main drivers of this because they want to represent the people. I know it's been brought up in discussion items, but as far as I know, there's no overt effort to make it happen. So it's going to have to start.
It does.
At the
And
ground
that's
level.
what I've been told.
And that's politics.
Is
That's the way
that-
politics works, or should anyway.
Yeah. Is what I've been told is if it reaches their desks, then there's going to be no problem. But the people have to get it there. So.
Okay. I just got a message from BSD. They're going to be on next week from Thursday when we talk about choice schools and things like that. And I'm looking forward to that. I really enjoyed the connection that we made with BSD on this show. But anyway, back to you. As far as other things you've learned, I mean, you talked about some expenses are higher than you expected. What example of one of those?
It's the little things. It really is. It's, you don't think about it going in, and it's hard to plan for. It's the citrus, it's the fruits, it's the dressings, it's the dustings, it's the, all the ingredients for the syrups. We realized after a month or two that we were spending so much more on just all of the things that go into the drink outside of any liquor or mixers than we ever thought we would.
Really?
And we had to very early on adjust some prices on the bar. We still think they're very competitive prices. We think for what they are, they're low prices. If you were doing that in Fort Worth, it'd be
absolutely
several dollars more.
Absolutely. And I've told people that, if you compare it, like a glass of whiskey with your place or say downtown Fort Worth, there's about a $2 to $3 difference.
Yeah.
Easily.
And we're still paying probably the highest rent in Burleson.
I would imagine.
And it's been important for us to keep it down as much as possible because we'd rather have people in. I believe in a mass sale model. It's let's blunt force it with more sales, and we'll take less off the top on profit if it means more sales.
It's interesting you bring up the smaller things. So it really isn't so much with wholesale, liquor prices or cigars.
No.
It's I've been told that before. Otto, for example, tells me like it's not so much like the big food items that he often has trouble with. It's straws or, or utensils maybe, or just some minor
We've
ingredient.
changed the paper towels in the bathroom 3 times. And if you're not paying attention, you'd never notice.
You mean-
they look and feel the exact same, but now we're paying 1/3 of what we used to pay.
Well, when you say you changed the paper towels, let's be clear, they're not the same roll that you started with. It's a different company you just started with. So like, we've changed, we cleaned the bathroom 3 times in the last 6 months. No,
No. We're using different paper
There you
towels
go.
from a different company because over the year we just find better deals and better deals and better deals, and now we have our source that we feel like we're getting the best deal.
Do you
from.
do that yourself, or do you have somebody do it for you?
No, my managers mostly do it. And especially when it comes to all that stuff, it's our bar manager, Kim, and she's brilliant and amazing.
See the young lady that does your posting and whatever else? I've seen a young lady that's done like little ads for you online. Okay.
No.
Okay.
She's no longer with us.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So thanks.
Sorry about that. That sounds.
We have an amazing staff though right now.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
really great.
When I was there last, it was right before Christmas, and I would just chit-chatting with your folks, and they're just, it's very hometown feeling,
Yeah.
I was there to pick up some gift cards, and, it was a very friendly atmosphere. I don't think you were there at that time. No, you were. You were there. You were
I
there.
was there.
Okay. Yeah. And prior to that, I went there to ask about gift cards. About a week prior to that, when I was there picking up Robin, I said, well, I got some time to kill. And, I spent some time in there. And Robin knew it, because she could, smell. But I had a time waster, shall we say. And it was a nice place. But I don't think I saw you then. Now, I also saw you one afternoon, Sunday afternoon.
Probably. I'm there on Sundays.
Yeah, I believe, what was I doing that particular Sunday? You were sitting, it was after another cowboy beat down after, I think that, whatever. So, but anyway, I digress. Anyway, I've been in there probably about in the last 3 months about 4 times, and it's a good experience.
Yeah, people really seem to like it. We seem to have hit a stride lately. There were some ups and downs throughout the year, last year, as we kind of got used to things and figured things out, and learned that certain months are just better than others. You know, in July, it finally got too hot for patios, and we had one of our best months of the year. But on either side, it was lower months, you know.
Well, it's like views on the podcast. I had a great November. October is average. And what's the difference? I mean, the guests, a lot of them were the same guests.
Yeah.
But November, I had really good numbers.
That's funny because November, we took an unexpected dip from where we thought we'd be. My positive was out of the 12 months, we had 4 that I felt underperformed, 4 that I felt overperformed, and 4 that I thought met expectations. But both on the under and overperformed, each time they got a little higher.
But it was like in August, I had the best month ever had.
Oh, no.
All right, the best ever had. And then September, I bet we were cut in half. And a lot of that is school, you know?
Yeah.
Because people, you know, a lot of people during the summer have more or time to spend.
We're flip-flopped.
Yeah.
We take that school hit in August. And then September was our best month of the year until Christmas and December. You know?
Yeah, so it's strange, and it's a nonstop thing. We were talking about this before the show. You can't take days off when you have your own business, can you? I mean, you may not be in the store, but you're always thinking about it. You're always promoting it. You're always putting it out there.
Yeah, I still have to work my day job. We don't make enough yet, so please come in and have a drink. Because I'd really like to make it my day job. We have a lot more growth and a lot more interesting things we want to do that we're kind of held back from. But you're right. In fact, it's a point of conflict that sometimes I get pulled away during the day to do things for the shop, and instead of being at my normal job. I try and schedule it around lunch hours, but and then my main partner, Nathan, he's there every day, all day. He's the one that drives all our social media, our website, all of our programming. He does all of that. And then, I mean, it's a full-time job. And we were talking about promotion. Promotion's a full-time job. I mean, I think we have pretty high-end social media posts. That's what we've been told by people. And yet we get people in more than a year after opening who have never seen a single post.
Well, I know that I get your Instagram and I forward it to my personal stuff, and Gayla does the same thing at Southern Gym. I do for her. And I've seen some of your posting, and then all this stuff you try to get on Facebook. Speaking of being on Facebook or other platforms, being a seller of tobacco and alcohol, did they ever give any grief about that?
Oh, yeah. We're not allowed to advertise on Facebook, Instagram, or Google.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
It really doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, these are legal products, and I don't understand it. It's not like, okay, first of all, I don't know. I'll just skip all the politics, but I think it's just unusual for me, all the crap you see out there on these platforms.
Well, that's
and they're busting on your business.
And this is it's the exposure to children, right? And I get that. Hey, if you're under 21, we don't want to see you.
There's a big sign there.
You're not even allowed inside the building. And we are strict on that. And we do not display cigars out in public unless it's like a special event. You have to go into the humidor room to even see them, because one of the big attacks is usually on the decorative bands. And it's like, one, there's hardly a newsstand anymore where you can buy any of our trade magazines. The big one being Cigar Aficionado. Half of their covers now, the person on the cover doesn't have a cigar in their hand anymore. It's just they've deplatformed. Meanwhile, Jose Cuervo, Malibu, Jack Daniels, Michelob Ultra, they're all allowed to advertise all they want. That's also an adult product. And then if we're talking about health risks, I mean, this is where I get into McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King and Raising Cane's, and they're all allowed to advertise, and they sell incredibly fatty food, and heart disease is still the number one killer.
Well, I haven't had a Big Mac in 20 years, I think, but what it just bothers me is when you have enterprises that are so integral to promoting your product that are making these kind of judgments. Okay. And as far as like, Facebook not putting your ads on there because they're afraid some kid will see it.
Right.
Well, it's if that kid tries to buy a cigar from you, you're gonna prevent that from happening. That's on you. And Facebook and Google shouldn't be making that judgment on your behalf.
Yeah.
That to me is anti-capitalist, I guess.
Especially on Facebook, it's really amazing. Facebook's ad tools are incredibly specific. And you can make it to where it only shows up on accounts of 21 and up aged people, and they still won't allow it. And I mean, I get it. Look, I get it. Cigarettes are terrible. If you're smoking cigarettes, you shouldn't do it. Cigarettes have literally hundreds of added chemicals and known carcinogens to them. They are bad. Cigars do not have anything added to them. If they had to list ingredients on the box, it would say tobacco leaves, and there's usually a very natural, vegetable-based glycerin that holds it together. But there's nothing added to them. So they're two very different types of smoke. How you ingest them is very different. They're completely different products. A lot of our legislative efforts on the national level are specifically to extract premium hand-rolled cigars, and that's the term, from the rest of tobacco. Because the rest of tobacco is, Camel Sweets and, hey, kids, you want to cig. I get it, But at the same time, look at a bottle of Malibu rum and tell me that's not marketed towards a younger audience. It's all fluorescent colors and neon and, but they're allowed to advertise in every major magazine.
Yeah, in our day, when I was in high school, that's when wine coolers became popular. Bartles and James.
Bartles and James.
And they may have had Two Old Coots advertising it, but it was meant for
the young
age bracket.
crowd, yeah.
That way, because you can drink alcohol and it tastes like, Dr. Pepper or Sprite.
Fuzzy navel.
Yeah.
I mean.
Right. And so I've seen it. It bothers me that these companies are in such a position that they could seriously impact your business, which is a legal product and a legal activity.
Yes.
And if you were selling weed out the back, that's one thing. But
yeah.
But I wonder if
we're not. And there's some things we can legally sell that have some of this stuff in it, right? And we don't sell that either. We have done everything we said we would. It's only premium hand-rolled cigars. Some of them do have flavors to them. But again, kids aren't allowed to even walk in the front door.
Plus, your price point isn't meant for kids.
No, gosh, no.
No, I mean, I've gone in there and cigars, these aren't like $1 a pop. All right.
No, the average cigar we sell is $10.15.
Right.
I just finished all my year-end stuff.
Yeah.
$10.15. So, if we may speak, gas station cigars are kind of known for the use of, you're not even supposed to smoke them.
Yeah.
What they do is they buy them in packs, they slice them open, they take out all that tobacco dust, and they put something else in there, reseal it, and smoke that. And we have the occasional person who comes in looking to do that, and we always tell them, dude, do not waste $10. It's not going to make it better.
Well, when you talk about putting stuff in it, we're not talking about, as of yet, according to the laws of Texas.
Not a legal product.
Yeah, I got
no.
you. Right. Well, I mean,
but ours are not for that. And that's what the kids are doing. They're buying Phillies and Swishers at the gas station, and they're cutting them open, and they're putting an illegal product in there.
Well, and so, so I've been in there, and I'm like, wow, this cigar is X dollars. And not that I'm amazed. First of all, I don't think you're overpricing them. I'm just thinking that these got to be really good cigars. It's like wine almost, or other types of like maybe whiskey, I guess. It's higher ends.
I actually make the comparison to wine more than whiskey because it's very much that way, especially on price point. And I always try and, I have to teach people this because there's this inherent thought that the more expensive it is, the better it is. So you find a person who, if it's less than $20, they don't want to touch it. Once you're at $20, you're into the ultra premium ranges. And look, we've got several of them. They're all very, very, very good. They are very good. But your favorite meal might be a sirloin. You don't eat sirloin every day. You know, and some days you eat Taco Bell.
Right.
You know, so you got to have, we've got cigars all the way down to $4, you know, and our whole pitch, and I've said it on the show before, is that anyone can come in here. We are the town's living room. Anyone has access. You can have a good time for $10. Plenty of people do all the time, you know, and you can have a good time for $200, which also plenty of people do.
Which you wouldn't see a lot of.
Our average sale is about $39. And so that should tell you that there's a bunch of sub $40, sub $20 tabs for people that had a great time. There are very excellent cigars across every price range. Just like there's always those hidden gem bottles of wine that's $10. And yet even your big wine snobby friends will be like, yeah, can you believe it's only $10? It's so good.
Oh yeah. My cousin was in the wine business until the weather and, you know, the state of Oklahoma conspired against him. But he would say after about $25, you're buying a label.
Yeah.
You know, and could you tell the difference between like a $8 bottle and $25 bottle? Sure, but sometimes that $8 bottle is all you're needing to get.
And that's another good point.
Yeah.
Is, you know, one of the things that really increases the price quickly is how long they age tobacco, and again, that's why it's a lot like wine and whiskey. It's how long they age it. The longer they age it, obviously, the more expensive that was to produce. It took up space, you know, and so it gets a higher price. But unless you're real hardcore about it, at a certain point, you're not going to really taste the difference.
Well, right, and I have another friend whose brother-in-law was handling an estate for one of his clients, and he had this whiskey collection, and they valued his total whiskey collection nearly $8 to $10 million. There were bottles in there that were worth like $100,000 or more, and I'm like, what in the world? Or you go to Total Wine behind the glass, you know, they'll have like a $1,300 bottle of whiskey or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, would I know what I'm drinking? That's the thing. You know, that's the thing. Would it make me? I'd be nervous. One thing, I'd drop the bottle and there goes. But the point is like I don't know enough about these things to appreciate
it.
Yeah. And I think that's what your tobacconists do. Because if I walk in,
we try and help. And look, if you come in and that's what you want, you want a $32 Escopette, man, I'm happy to sell it to you because it is a phenomenal cigar. You will enjoy it. But if you're open, because the guys that smoke, guys and gals, we have plenty of gals, who smoke $30, $40 cigars, they don't do it very often. You know, it's, I remember my barber, when I first started seeing him, loved going up to Silverleaf, and they smoked Davidoffs that average probably $35 a stick. And they're kind of the ultra premium brand in our world. And I told him then, I was like, let me help you find a $10 cigar that you really like, and you will become much more into this world. You know, if all you ever do is show up and smoke the most expensive stick we have, you're not going to get everything out of this hobby that you can get. Now, if you don't want to make it a hobby, that's fine. Show up, smoke a $20 cigar. You know, one of our top brands is Plasencia, and their average stick is $16. You know, we are definitely what would be considered in the industry a premium shop, as some of our top brands are premium brands. So, and we even have a $65 cigar in there right now.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, is it pretentiousness that sometimes drives people to buy that kind of stuff?
You know, usually also when it's at that price, it's very rare. And in this case, this is a Plasencia cigar, and they are one of the best brands out there. And it was made especially in conjunction as the official cigar of the World Cup. And they only made so many boxes of it. And so it's exceedingly rare. And some people will buy it for the rarity.
Do they collect it like they do? Some people collect wine.
Some people will collect it because just like wine, you know, as long as you keep it in the right conditions, it can hold for a very, 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 very long time.
You know, it reminds me of this movie, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Okay, and
Yes.
and Michael Caine showing Steve Martin this huge wine collection, and oh, but you don't drink it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What's the point?" You know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Martin's like, "Are you kidding me?" You know.
Yeah. But for the
You know?
enthusiast, being able to say, I had one of the Etafalls when you're talking. It's like, oh, you got your hands on one. You know, there's a little bit of that to it.
Oh, okay, a little one-upsmanship.
It's
I guess.
the experience, right?
But to me, it's like a wine. You know, you have this maybe $200 bottle or a more $1,200 bottle,
Mm-hmm.
and you drink it, and you're done. All right, you know, I guess
It's gone.
Yeah, it's not like a car, you know, or some other collectible that you look at and maybe profit from. What I don't know. It just, to me, that's a rich man's game. Is that kind of collection of stuff.
And you know, our line within, you know, those of us who are the everyday guys is, you know, they made them so we'll smoke them. You know, so yeah, you may want to save one for a special occasion, but smoke it. That's why they made it. They didn't make it for you to hold forever. You know, to each their own. It's fine. I'm happy to accommodate either way. But
I have 3 bottles that I won't open, but it's not because of the rarity by any means. It's because they are special memories. One was from my parents' 60th anniversary. My aunt had bought some wine, and so that bottle reminds me of my parents. But you know, it's not a very expensive bottle. And then I have 2 from my cousin's prior wine shop, and you know, so I'm going to keep those as a family memento. But as far as like, you know, I'm going to go buy like really expensive anything and then not partake of it. That just seems to me I'm throwing around my money to be a big shot. But no, I agree with you. If you're going to buy a cigar, you smoke it. If you're going to buy wine, you drink it.
enjoy it, man.
Yeah, in particular, you know, these days, you know. But it just, you know, as far as kind of going back to the marketing of everything, who do you market to? Because this isn't just. I mean, I know you want every citizen that Burleson on it, but do you
everyone over 21?
Right, over 21, you know, that and all this that wants a certain experience. But how do you market besides this show?
We have advertised in local life with Tiffany. All the tenants of the Standard have one of the electric billboards on 174.
I've seen it. Right.
They're over by, I forget.
Is it, you also
like Realm.
But not only just to Burleson itself, but like to cigar smokers.
So there are, again, because we're kind of shoved into the shadows, it's Facebook groups. You know, there are several Facebook groups that we try and get the word out on. Of course, we use our social media. We try and get our friends who are in the industry to also repost and post about us. We tell people to take photos and tag. The best advertisement is word of mouth. And we do get a lot of that from our customers. Thankfully, we have really awesome customers. But then of course we also do podcasting. You know, I do things like this. I've been interviewed a dozen times over the last year
with cigar manufacturers or cigar groups,
either with a cigar podcast or cigar groups, or one time with one of the companies doing a promotion. Just always trying to talk about it to whoever will listen. And of course, we have the studio room at our place that it's the next thing on the list after finishing the online store, which is launching soon. So as soon as we get the online store all done, which has also been a problem because we're big bad tobacco, then we've got several podcasts planned, you know, like episode by episode planned out, and we're going to start shooting a lot of that and putting out a lot of our own content. And that it's all about SEO and hashtagging it right, keywording, right? You know, just making sure that when someone within this area types cigars into Google, that we're the first thing that comes up.
You mentioned the online store. When do you think they'll be up and running?
I know that we're taking photos right now, so that I think that means most of the architecture's done. I would anticipate. I'm going to go ahead and say March.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
So I don't put too much pressure on them, because we are still having to figure out how to take the payments without upsetting anyone.
Well, as soon as it happens, send us the information, and Taylor will incorporate it on your ad spot. Put the link out there and whatever else, and we'll just add that to your promo that we do.
Yeah.
And we're running close on time, but tell us how you're going to promote coming up with special days and like the NFL playoffs,
Right.
Or Valentine's Day. It's not too soon to think of that.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is a big deal.
Valentine's
Day. Is there a story behind that?
Tuesday. This is one of the other things from the first year is trotting out daily specials and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. And something we finally hit on was Tap Tuesdays. Well, now it's called Sticks and Steins on Tuesdays. We have these very cool Wilde steins that you can buy, and it's half price drafts on Tuesdays. But every other day, if you bring in that stein, you get $1 off drafts. So it's kind of a club, but it's Tuesdays.
Right.
And Valentine's is on Tuesday.
So Valentine's Day.
So it's Valentine's Day. We'll have, for anyone looking for a special gift, we will have steins for sale with a cigar package. We're going to make it look nice for Valentine's Day. We do all the work for you, just like we did around Christmas. We had these cool little stockings and we put 5-packs in them. We do a bunch of the work for you. You come in, you take it off the shelf, purchase it, and you can just give it straight out like that. And then obviously the night of, we'll be doing some special deals.
Sure.
Tonight, National Championship.
Right.
TCU and Georgia come out with us. We're not doing anything special. Mondays are real hit and miss.
Right.
We tried to turn it into ladies' night, and it was just very middling success.
Right.
And we did that because it's the least busy night, the least smoky. It's a perfect night for a group of women to go out and really test out the cocktails, maybe try a cigar. But anyway, national championship, and of course, as the NFL playoffs start next week, the Cowboys somehow are in the playoffs.
What time are they playing? I'm not quite sure.
I have not seen yet. The rumor on Twitter yesterday was that we will be the Monday night game.
Oh, crap.
Yes.
Well, I guess it's good for you.
No,
it's not good for me. I didn't want that.
Basically, if the Cowboys play at noon or on Monday night, we don't really get people. If they play Sunday afternoon or Sunday night, we get a good crowd. We had a good crowd yesterday for Sunday afternoon, even though the Cowboys failed to show up to the game.
That is a terrible game.
It seems we'll get one last chance to beat Tom Brady. We will be doing some drink deals. One of our most popular cocktails that was born out of the Super Bowl last year. It's called the Red Zone Punch. It's our spin on a rum punch with spiced pear syrup in it. It's very popular. It's so popular we've left it on the menu.
So after the Cowboys get beat,
yeah, you can
you still
have 2 or 3 of these and you'll forget.
Yeah, and then you can be doing all the way through the Super Bowl, like you mentioned, and then right next after that is Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
And then you got, St. Patrick's Day.
Actually, I think it's going to be the first Friday in March. Watch our social media. We'll be doing our first cigar event of the year where we team up with one of the cigar companies. And we will be teaming that up with a chili cook-off. So watch for information. Everyone gets to try all the chili and vote. So it's going to be a fun night. That'll be early in March.
Well, you send us information. We'll throw it on the ads.
And then for a real long tease, I don't have all the specifics for people yet. We'll be putting out the information here in the next few weeks.
Okay.
We will be producing theater.
That sounds about right, knowing your background.
In October, we plan to produce some Shakespeare. Don't turn off.
No, I think
I have a long background in Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And so does my team. And we put together a really amazing team. And we will be producing Henry IV, parts 1 and 2.
Ah, yes.
For anyone that's like, why not Hamlet? Why not Romeo and Juliet?
No.
Henry IV, part 1 and 2. Part 1, half the show takes place in a bar. And it's with his funniest, biggest, broadest character, Falstaff, and young Prince Hal. And it's raucous and fun. And we're going to do it in the bar. It's going to be amazing. Part 2 gets more into the battles and the succession. And we're going to do that out in the pavilion out behind Wilde. between us and American Revelry.
Now we're talking. See,
Yeah.
I think that'll go over really well.
Actually, the reaction we've gotten in store when we've talked to
Yeah.
people about it so far, because they've seen us meeting and plotting in there, has been extremely
Now
positive.
you don't have to be an employee of Wilde to be able to participate in this, right?
Absolutely not.
So-
and that's why I'm saying go follow us on social media. We will be posting for auditions and crew positions. Anyone we can get from Burleson, we're happy to get. I have a good tie-in to the Dallas and Fort Worth Shakespeare communities, but we want people from Burleson involved. We want to finally, hopefully, maybe bring some sustainable theater to Burleson.
Well, I'll talk to my friend Kenneth Branagh and see what he's doing.
Oh,
these
yeah.
days.
Check with Ken. I haven't talked to him since we were shooting Murder on the Orient Express.
Well, that keep us posted on all these things.
Will do.
All right, because I like to use this platform to promote you, and I appreciate what you've done for my show, and I appreciate the fact what you bring to our town. I mean, when I say a little bit of class, I tell people it's a class joint, because it's a place you can go and do business. It's a place that you could take your parents, without
Yeah, but I'm still playing the Stones, and we still have
There you
Jack
go.
and Coke.
Right.
It is a little nicer. Leather seats, high ceilings. But man, we got something for everyone. Don't be scared off.
No, when I say it's a nice place, I'm really talking more about the clientele.
It really is, though. I mean, certainly, there's a lot of people moving to Burleson. Mm-hmm. A lot of the new houses, kind of nice.
I hear you go in there, and I hear the Stones, or I hear Al Green, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not. But I'm just saying, it's not a woohoo bar for 21-year-old college kids.
We tell
bums.
people, we're like, hey, we got bars in town for that.
Yeah.
And you should definitely go visit them. As I tell my lead bartender, I'm like, look, because he comes from the dive bar world. Like, I love a great dive bar. We're not a dive bar.
Yeah. If you want a dive
we're not a dive bar.
Yeah.
There are dive bars in town.
Yeah.
They serve that purpose. We serve this purpose. You can enjoy both of them. They're both great.
Well, we're at the end. I always let the guest have the last word, so let us have it.
Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're extremely active. We post every day. Even if you are not into cigars and have no interest, we have an excellent bar. We have a great patio. It has heaters on it right now. When it gets warmer, it has a fan. It looks out on the pavilion at the Standard. American Revelry's right next door. We got 2 more phases going up right now at the Standard, and one of them is going to have a really nice coffee shop in it. We're real excited about that. They're going to be like right next to us, and there's a lot of fun stuff happening. Come by, hang out with us, have a drink.
Yeah, well,
We'd love to see you.
I always get an education, though, because I'm not in the world of tobacco. I really get an education listening to you talk about it, and hope the listeners will as well. And I hope the NFL playoffs proves to be a good boom for the business. Maybe the longer the Cowboys stay in.
The football crowd has grown throughout the season.
Sure.
We were very discouraged early on.
Well, it's not known as a sports bar.
No, and that's kind of the thing, right? I was talking with one of my regulars yesterday while we watched that
Debacle.
Yeah. And it was like, if you want the sports bar, we got sports bars. If you still want to see the game, but you're kind of a chill person, man, this is where you come.
I saw a game last season there, and you had it on, and you had the volume off, which is fine with me. Because
Now we're turning volume on.
Well,
if it's Cowboys.
If it's Cowboys, okay. But he had like some college game. So you can catch what you want. But I'm sure with the Cowboys, you had the volume on. But when I saw you there at that Jacksonville game, I saw what you were doing, but it wasn't blowing you out. It wasn't like
No, it's not super loud. We do tend to turn one of the games on with volume now during games. But
well, you have to.
I was still on the overhead speakers. I'll still play music lightly. And on an average night, though, if it's just like a Spurs versus Mavs, or Stars versus Wild, or Rangers versus Rays, we don't turn volume on usually, unless there's some big reason to watch. So you still get your music, you can see your game, and you can have a good drink while you're doing it.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate you coming by.
Thank you.
Tomorrow I have the mayor on. I'll bring up some of these things we're talking about, and also on Thursday I have a Burleson citizen named Larry Scott who will be making a big announcement. So I'll see y'all then. Bye-bye.
Thank you.